Hello and welcome to another episode of the Classical Republican video review. So we're going to have a reaction here. So this is from the Majority Report, which is, I guess I would say he's, Sam Seder is a, what would you say? I guess not quite a socialist, but it goes pretty far over there. He's more of a social democrat. But he and social democrats really do want to keep capitalism around, but he criticizes capitalism a lot. So but then again, he's not quite a socialist, as I think a lot of socialists would say. No, he's not a socialist. But they were talking about Little House on the Prairie, and that's about a family that benefited in the uh, mid 19th century from the Homestead Act. And so let's listen to what they say about that. Oh, I don't have the sound on. Let me put the sound on.
Seems to me.
Talking about libertarianism.
It comes back to the States, and we start to see the beginnings of like a programmatic idea of both impacting academia, politics, and culture. We're jumping ahead a little bit, but
yeah, this is insane to me. I mean, I read some of this, right? And I did not realize what you spent a good amount of time speaking about was a part of like a libertarian indoctrination propaganda effort.
yes, one of the things that's so ironic about this whole story is
Okay, I got to make some clarifications here. They're talking about Little House on the Prairie, and that is the name of the TV show that was very popular when I was growing up. But it's based on these books that are by the daughter of the child in the family, the youngest child in the family, who had these experiences. And so I think there's a little bit of telephone going on here, because you had the mother who related the story to her child in like the 1920s, and then she wrote those stories down and got to make a lot of money promoting her family's story. So yeah, just to clarify there.
massively criticizing the Soviet Union for propaganda. And it was a particular is the Soviet attempt to propaganda children, and yet they do the exact same thing. They recognize it, just they don't they see it. So one kind of shocking pieces of the story, and here I want to acknowledge two other scholars. It's the story of the origins of the Little House on the Prairie series. So, like millions of other girls, growing up and believe that they were the true lives of Laura Ingalls Wilder on the American frontier.
Yeah, so Laura Ingalls Wilder was the child in the story, but I don't think people think that it was all 100% true. I mean, you do have a lot of telephone going on from the and she was so young when these experiences occurred. She's not going to remember exactly everything that was going on. Everything's going to appear bigger because she was so tiny. And so yeah, I think they're kind of over I don't know, maybe they're oversimplifying this. Let's listen some more.
And that's what I think most of us thought when we read those books. It turns out it's not true. And it's not true on a couple of different levels. First of all, rough notes the book based on that.
Yeah, I think we all knew that.
Her daughter, who was a libertarian thinker, journalist who has to be
There's now the other. This is executive.
Well, that's very interesting. I didn't know about all the relationships.
Parables. And no need for help from the government. Well, that was a misrepresentation on at least 2 levels. Ingalls.
Yeah, I don't think anybody ever thought that. I mean, I think we all learn about the Homestead Act in, in like even in at least in middle school, and in high school, but possibly in grade school you learn about that. But anyway, yeah, I don't think that you would want to show that family as a family that was incredibly successful from any perspective. I mean, they had to move. They didn't really get into why they were moving so much, but it was because of failures, and they just couldn't make it in one place, so they had to move on. And sometimes they were squatting, and sometimes they were doing the homestead thing, but they never got around to filling out the paperwork, which happened. I mean, the Homestead Act was only successful for 40% of the people that tried it. So let's hear what else they have to say.
It was not actually successful. Their story of life in the frontier was actually a story of repeated failures.
Ew.
Wiped those away and made it all good, made it all successful. Government played a gigantic role in the frontier. Through the railroads and
Yeah, I don't think that was all wiped away. That's mentioned in there, but it's downplayed definitely, because this is just a little tiny girl's memories of growing up in different places around the country. And the railroads, her father worked on the railroads in one of the books, to make extra money because they weren't doing well enough. The homestead, the Native Americans, there was actually a book where they go to Oklahoma and they actually leave because they're on Native American land, and so they eventually they leave and decide that, well, we don't really belong here. So that's this.
Also being tied to freedom for whites as we spell, or enslaved non-white.
so particularly the kind of law issue, property rights.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. Based on
Rose father named Star, and she was a very, very influential most different sort of one of the 3 most influential libertarian thinkers in the mid-century. So in her books, which is a nonfiction, well, it's nonfiction, although it's filled with falsification of history. She makes it better.
They debate with Walter Paul. He was a Ron Paul advisor.
So then they go on to talk about how there is a connection with the stories and the ideology and with Trump. So we don't need to get into all of that. You can watch the video in its entirety if you want over at the Majority Report. It was released today, so that's 5/29/2023. Yeah, so I think they're kind of overplaying it. That I thought it was interesting that there was a big connection with libertarianism. Of course, libertarians would have, they promote that type of lifestyle even to this day, just going out on your own, not doing anything with having anything to do with the government, especially like planning and zoning and that type of thing, and taxes. So very interesting. I wanted to comment on this because this is their lives were that way because the government saw fit to implement Harringtonian principles of dividing up the property. Now, was this Was this implemented properly? I would say not the best way. The Homestead Act took a lot of land from Native Americans, and then eventually the Dawes Act took more land away from Native Americans. But those were actually Harringtonian principles of dividing up land equally among people. So these are things I want to talk about more and get into more as time goes on. Until next time, long live the Republic.